Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It is Coffee with Eddie, and my guests today are the one and only Ambrea Mikolajczyk and Kevin Mikolajczyk. And I love one of the things that's on your website also that says your obsession with designing and creativity into something special from undesirable properties. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was what that was.
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely undesirable. Outweigh the cons.
Yeah, that's a really good point Kevin just made. I mean, the pros always outweigh the cons for us, really, no matter what condition the building is in. And in fact,
well, I mean,
if it works, if the numbers work.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the Wonder Bread Factory, even though it's the largest project we've done, we've purchased and renovated properties in way worse condition. So when we walk through a Wonder Bread, it's like, oh, this is great.
Piece of cake.
There's no mushrooms going on. There's no foundation to reassemble, like all the things.
Yeah.
Like we've purchased worse. We live in worse. We're good.
So Kevin, how long do you think Wonder Bread is going to take? What is your plan there?
It should be 10, 11 months. I've given us 12. So
okay.
As of right now, everything's going good. So we should have no issues hitting that 12-month mark for sure. But, we'll push it as far as we can. But we don't know what's going to happen here with winter. And, if it gets really bad out here, then that might put a damper into a few items that need to get buttoned up.
And materials have been tough, too.
Some materials have been. But a lot of that, we've identified all our long lead items and have those accurately staged. One as far as like ordering appliances, like yes.
Yeah, and it's going good. I mean, it's still very early, but we're kind of ahead. We're ahead with everything.
Knock on wood.
Evan's knocking on wood.
Knock harder than that. I can't believe it.
It's going really well.
I wouldn't say that. No, it's not going great. We're behind schedule. Okay. It's not going great. No, not at all.
You guys always need that constant pressure that's pushing on you, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, and of all things, you're tackling all of this, and then COVID hits, and then so something that I'm sure you have to take into consideration is it's also affecting, like you said, lead times on product, but also costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so especially on the lumber side, which luckily we don't have too much lumber in there, but there's definitely been, a struggle of getting lumber, and then the pricing on lumber is just through the roof. Other stuff, there's a bump in the appliances cost, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff, and we were able to identify what price increases we knew were coming, like metal framing and that. So we were able to lock in some pricing on that stuff, and we did our best to lock in pricing prior to year-end price increases coming, or September 1 or 10/1. Mm-hmm. A lot of times stuff changes. So we had enough foresight to start locking in prices with suppliers. But you have no choice on these things because there's so little money for the amount of work you have to do. Right. And construction costs are never easy.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I hate to keep referring back to this, and I hope you guys feel comfortable with this, but it really is an inspirational story of what you guys are doing. What would you say to your younger selves? And then what would you say to young kids that are coming through school that are wanting to build a future and they're just relying on their dreams right now?
Mm-hmm. I would say take the risk sooner.
Yeah.
Because had I known what I know now, we could have out of the gate been more risky. But, you have the pressure of, everyone's telling you, you've got to go to college, right? Get your degree. Now you're getting a career. Now you're buying a house in the burbs. Like all those things society is telling you have to do, when you really need to just kind of forge your own path. And I know that's difficult to do when you have a lot of people telling you what's expected and you want to, please people. But I would certainly say take a risk sooner. Kevin had wanted to buy a duplex as our first house. Kevin's been always entrepreneurial. And he's like, let's buy a duplex. We don't need a big house. We can live in one side and we can rent out the other side, and we'll have that additional cash flow and we can start to be investors sooner. I was like, no, Who does that? I'm not doing that. I'm not living with someone else. That's crazy. We're not doing that. But, hindsight's always 20/20. And so we didn't, and we bought the house in the burbs, et cetera. And
I'd be retired by now.
no, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. But I would certainly say just take the risk sooner. Don't be afraid. It's okay. I think when you're young enough, you should be taking and doing things that are more risky because you have a lot of time to make it up, right? If it didn't work out. And so I would have done a lot more things sooner than I did because I was too afraid to take the risk.
Yeah.
And Kevin, what would you say to somebody who's a young person coming through school and they're having questions either about going to college, going to trade school, starting their own business? What would you say to them?
Probably like trust your instincts, and just being able to say, you know what, this is what we need to be doing, because we identified what we were really good at early on. Having that confidence, and again, you just can't take no for an answer.
There's something I think goes along with that is I've heard the saying that God doesn't choose the qualified, he qualifies the chosen.
Right.
So
Qualifies.
going back
Yep.
to what you said earlier, what we said earlier about having some prayer and having some faith also needs a lot of that too.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so true. Because when you think about a lot of people, what makes them the expert in an area?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's because they've done the work to get there. They've acquired some knowledge. And so we don't look at ourselves as experts at all.
I do.
Oh, my bad. But what I was going to say is that we truly are in our space because we've done the work. And that's what I know now, because it's been 15 years of a lot of mistakes, getting it right, surrounding ourselves with people who know more than we do. We always have known that we aren't the smartest people in the room. So we surround ourselves with people who know more than we do. And we didn't feel like we were qualified to do this work.
Yeah.
I don't feel 100% certain, but I know that God has us here for a reason.
Yeah, I think you both have an honorary doctorate from the School of Hard Knocks, for sure.
Definitely. Check.
Well, I appreciate the time you guys have spent with me. I'm very happy to know you and to be friends with you guys, and very happy to see all the positive things you're doing for our community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Eddie, for having us.